So here you are, looking in the mirror and saying, that's what an advanced aimer looks like. So you go into YouTube and all the guides are telling you to play grid shot and have good crosshair placement. But you know that already. So what do? Well, you came to the right place. Today I'm going to share with you some secrets and what helped me take my aim to that next level. The first thing you have to do is realize that nobody can help or understand your issues but you. So you have to be the one asking yourself questions, many of them in fact. What has worked for me in the past? Are fewer or more runs better for me? Is there a specific field that helped me more than others? And the list goes on. The one thing I actually want to dive a little bit deeper into is which playlist has helped you in the past. So let's say that's the HNA routines. So what's holding you back from breaking them down? For example, notice a trend that the HNA routines follow. One accurate scenario, one clustered scenarios, and one wide wall scenarios, and it's the same for pokeball. So he's essentially breaking down target switching into mini categories. You should do the same except with the other fields of aiming, and I have a perfect video for that. Now let's take another example. My fundamental playlist is full of harder reactive, different ranges, and strategically placed smoothness scenarios to help lessen the shakiness some people feel. Maybe this playlist worked for you. Well, chances are harder reactive is what you need. So this way of breaking down a playlist and analyze what has worked for you in the past and what doesn't, then creating a specialized one just for you is what you need. If you're an advanced aimer, the places you find improvement on will be minimal. Now I want you to look at these minuscule changes and treat them as their massive flaws. If you see yourself flicking back to the target while tracking instead of smoothly following it, for the next week I want you to work purely on fixing that smaller flaw and make it a full priority. Focus purely on one flaw and see where it takes you. This way of micro-analyzing the smaller details of aim does wonders. Realistically, if you're an advanced aimer, you just need to fine-tune certain aspects, and with the right guidance, it'd be a lot easier, which is why I created my aim coaching, for you to get a third eye on your aim. Join my Discord where you can ask questions or take part in many resources that come in handy. Now, this is the way I've actually used to break down my own aim. I've structured it into different weeks which focus on different flaws that I have, and I encourage you to do the same. Now, the extremely little data we have on aim training shows that more repetitions but less tasks are better for beginners, while diversity is better for advanced users. But I'm not sure I agree with that, and here's why. Anything that's related to a new field, such as aim training, is bound to get things wrong. You think back to all the stuff we got wrong about space in the beginning, and we still get wrong. But it's not just that. For example, these studies were mainly done on beginner tasks such as grid shot or sphere track. So I'd rather go off my own experiences and techniques I know have helped people in my past. Through that experience coaching and going through my own hurdles, I believe a more diverse approach is better for beginners as they lack a complete skill set, while a more focused approach is good for advanced users. So what does this mean for you? Essentially, if you're an advanced user, it means you learn more from doing 5 to 10 runs of a task that you feel benefits you. Well, then another question actually starts to arise. How do we know if this task is benefiting me or not? Well, some signs that can help you are, how are you progressing during your session? Don't get stuck looking at the current task, but look at the next task. Does this next task actually feel easier, or have you all of a sudden become more stable within a few runs? Lastly, we can take a look at your score. If you've done 3 runs and your scores is upwards, why stop there? Most likely it's a scenario your body needs today, and for whatever reason, you're cutting it off. Stop getting in the habit of doing 3x runs just because the playlist tells you to. As an advanced user, you should be aware enough of what benefits you. That's why you can and should skip or extend certain scenarios you feel aren't helping you. Important here is to realize what the scenario before is doing. For example, if I put Swave Track ahead of Smoothbot, Swave Track is actually an assisting skill to Smoothbot. Therefore, they're connected and should be played together. So that's great, some mental tips for y'all, but what are some actual things I can do? How can I get out of this? So I actually want to go through this very important rule, which is trial by error. And if you don't know what that means, it's essentially going through a checklist. Okay, so for example, I got great reactivity. That can't be my stake. Okay, let's check my smoothness. That's not my issue either. Well, have I tried movement tracking? No, I actually haven't. So let's add 15 minutes of that to my routine and start to see how I'm feeling. Simple experiments like that are what you need to be doing, because you can't afford to mindlessly be playing stuff I give you without any context. The beginners or intermediate people might, but not advanced users. Lastly, I want to touch on an important thing, your playtime. Some of you are actually struggling with fatigue and you don't know it. The way you find this out is if you dedicate a full week to only doing 20 minutes of training. Don't consider it a warm-up, think of it as actual training. See if you feel better or worse in game. See, these types of experiments are what I want you to be doing all the time, regardless of your skill level. Experiment and don't take anyone's word for it.